staff, or they can figure out a way to work with the surety to post a bond. It's a $50,000 surety and bond that they've worked within that doesn't change any of the standards which the state currently has for licensure. This is a bill that the contracting board came up and supported and has to be carried, and that's the bill.
Thank you, sir. Fairly simple. Do we have any questions from the committee at this time? Any folks that speak in favor of this bill? That's right. We'll get the folks here. Any in opposition? We have a motion to report. Properly second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Senator Evans, Senator 783, I believe.
Yes, sir. This is a bill you've seen before, but there is some information I want to bring to your attention. First off, this is the bill that prohibits discrimination in public employment on a variety of bases, including race, color, religion, national origin, sex, pregnancy, childbirth, related medical conditions, age, marital status, disability, status as a veteran, and it also includes sexual orientation and gender identity, which is, I think, the only area of controversy. We want to have a welcoming Commonwealth, and without a governor's executive order, these folks are not protected, any of the classes I mentioned. We know that private employees can be fired or refused employment based on their sexual orientation or gender identity easily in Virginia, as in about 20 other states. Now, we also know that Fortune 1000 companies based in Virginia have policies prohibiting discrimination, and we know that in a 2013 survey, 80% of transgender Virginians had reported experiencing harassment or mistreatment at work, 22% losing a job, and 26% reporting being denied a promotion or not hired, or that's another 44%. Last year, the committee referred this bill to the Code Commission, and the Code Commission reviewed this along with a number of other bills that were sent there. And they said that these bills are considered strictly matters of public policy, which are ordinarily beyond the scope of the Commission's limited authority. So while they are studying one bill that we sent there, which dealt with terms, marital terms of husband and wife, which were necessary in light of the Supreme Court ruling on marriage, this is not one of those bills, and I'm going to ask the committee respectfully to consider taking up and making a decision, and I hope that you'll affirmatively consider making it clear that we don't tolerate discrimination in Virginia in our state employment.
Thank you, Senator Evans. Do we have any questions from the committee at this time? Questions? Folks, speak in favor of the bill. Hi, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman. Committee members, I'm Joseph Hopper with Equality Virginia, and on behalf of all LGBT Virginians, I express our strong support for Senator Evans' bill, which received broad support from 2/3 of the Senate, including members of both parties. Furthermore, nearly 80% of Virginians feel as we do that employment and advancement should be based solely on job performance and not through how you identify. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chairman, I was getting Mike Forney of the Virginia Chamber of Commerce. We support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Charles Schmidt with the ACLU of Virginia. We also strongly support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah Wilson, Department of Human Resource Management. For reasons previously stated, the administration supports the bill.
Thank you. Anyone else in favor? Those in opposition to the bill?
Mr. Chairman, Eddie of Virginia Syndicated Independent Baptist. Our greatest concern is that this has become a long list, and we feel like that this is going in the wrong direction. Secondly, gender identity. Gender identity is extremely fluid, and we don't know where that money will go. While we can distinct, it is not something that is well defined still, and we just still don't feel like that this is the best method, best way to do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, members of the subcommittee, Josh Hessler with the Family Foundation. According to the Virginia Department of Human Resource Management, since July of 2009, there have been 12 complaints regarding sexual orientation, and to my knowledge, none involving gender identity, and of those 12, 0 were deemed to be valid. So essentially, we have a situation in which this law would serve to do nothing, there would be no benefit, and yet it would only create problems, as we've seen in other states, particularly with religious liberty. So I urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak to the bill? Members of the committee? Questions? We have a motion report from Tilly here, and properly seconded. Motion's before us. All in favor of reporting the bill, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Bill.
I'm sorry, what was the vote, sir?
The bill fails to report. 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Failed to report 4-2.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Senator Wexton, Senate Bill 822.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. On that note, I have Senate Bill 822, which is a fair housing bill. Currently, Virginia law provides that there cannot discriminate in housing based on race, religion, national origin, sex, but this bill would add discrimination on the basis of individual sexual orientation or gender identity as an unlawful housing practice under our fair housing law. It applies to commercial landlords, so it does not apply to landlords who have fewer than 3 rental units. It doesn't apply to people who are renting out spaces in their homes or multi-unit dwellings where they're going to be occupying one of the units. It applies to commercial activity. Person's sexual orientation or gender identity has nothing to do with whether they will be a good tenant or neighbor or whether they'll be able to pay their rent on time. Currently, 92% of Fortune 500 companies include sexual orientation in their non-discrimination policies, and 82% include sexual orientation in their non-discrimination policies. And these are old guard companies like Ford, GM, GE, ExxonMobil, even Walmart recognizes these protections for their employees. The proportions are even higher among newer, high-tech companies, new generation of companies. These companies are not going to want to come to Virginia or expand their practice in Virginia if their employees can be denied housing because the Virginia legislature will protect their employees from discrimination. So I would ask that the committee consider reporting this bill.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee at this time?
Mr. Chairman, this maybe is a question for council. Is it not already an unlawful housing practice to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity?
Any further questions from the committee? We have to speak in favor.
Mr. Chairman, the subcommittee, Helen Harden with Housing Opportunities Made Equal. This is the 10th session, at least, that this bill has been introduced. 22 other states have both sexual orientation and gender identity as protected classes. I'm confident that the day will come where Virginia sees fit to protect these classes as well. You know, I'm a landlady myself, and I rent to the first person who qualifies, right? If they're going to pay their rent and be a good neighbor, I'm going to rent to them. I shouldn't be able to use things like their race, religion, or sexual orientation to exclude them from housing for which they otherwise qualify. I don't think who you love should live where you can live, and I urge you to support the bill.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak in favor of the bill?
Joseph Pop again with the Fall Agreement, and we stand in strong support of Senator Wexton's bill. Current policy states in the state prevents housing discrimination, as Senator Wexton said, on a number of factors.
afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee, Charlie Schmidt with the DSW of Virginia. I'd also echo we strongly support this bill. And also, on a personal note, like the previous speaker, I rent houses as well. I have a few houses. My wife and I are in this market. I've also been on the other side as the private practice, defending folks against landlords. And I've had personal instances where people have come to me and said, you know, they've been discriminated against both in the city of Richmond, Chesterfield, and Waco. Not calling out any jurisdiction, but this is a real problem. And I have to tell them there's no protection. There's no way, there's no fix for this. That the fix is go live in another state that gives us protection. So I really hope that you would understand that these are individuals and families that are having this problem. It's a real problem for them. It's not a problem for the state. The sky is not going to fall if you extend this protection for those people, and I would really encourage you to do so.
Thank you. Anyone else to speak in favor of the bill?
The chairmanship picks on behalf of the Association of Realtors, and the National Association of Realtors has a code of ethics. The code of ethics basically says that no realtor subject to administrative adjudication can discriminate against any protected class, and that includes gender identity. So the Virginia Association of Realtors would like to support this bill.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else to speak in favor? Those in opposition?
Mr. Chairman, Josh Hudson with the Family Foundation. This bill is another classic example of a solution in search of a problem. We're not hearing of any instances. In fact, there have been 19 reported complaints since 2009 from the localities that have human rights commissions. None of those were deemed to be valid. And furthermore, this creates a number of problems. One of them, let me tell you one significant one. Religious universities, of which there are a number in this state, would be impacted by this law. There is effectively no religious exemption. So a school like Liberty University would be required under this to allow biological males in female dorms. And a number of other things, sexual orientation impacting the married housing dorms on a number of campuses. So there are a number of problems that, on that basis, I hope you'll vote no on this bill.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Don't get it.
specific question on one of the statements you made. Can staff clarify, would this apply to dorm rooms?
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking now for the exemption section. That one for private companies.
Which one?
I'm looking on page 2, the exemption section starts on line 73, C.
And while y'all are looking, Virginia Assembly and Baptist concur with Josh's rendering with regard, and that's our only concern is with regards to college dorms and housing that they permit. And there may be some churches that have their own rental facility, which may already be a carve out with respect to that.
Thank you. Welcome. Yeah, she's still researching. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, Jeff Caruso with the Virginia Catholic Conference. We have great respect for the patrons that do find ourselves on the opposite side of this issue. And our concern is private entities, including both charities and religiously affiliated colleges and universities. Section 36-96.3 of the code, which appears on lines 131 to 199 of the bill, is what governs what is or is not unlawful discriminatory housing practice. And the entirety of those lines and that section applies across the board to any person, and any person per lines 59 and 60 includes any organizations, associations, etc. So it would apply to institutions that we're concerned about, We think that when it comes especially to religious institutions and mission-based institutions should be able to make decisions that comport with their mission and their values, for example, their values about marriage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the exemption appears to be down on lines 107 through 110. Nor shall anything in this chapter be construed to prohibit any private, state-owned, or state-supported educational institution, hospital, nursing home, religious or correctional institution from requiring persons. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. All right, anyone else to speak for the bill? Members of the committee, any questions for David?
Mr. Chairman, I would just indicate that, as you can see from the exemption, the issue of the dorm rooms or whatever is really a non-issue. It is already accounted for in current law. This religious liberty and non-discrimination are not mutually exclusive. And as you heard, this bill did make it through the other chamber with a lot of bipartisan support. And among the folks who were willing to support it for both sides, it was really viewed as an economic issue. No matter what your feelings are on the religious liberty issue, these are the things that companies are looking at when they're deciding whether to locate in Virginia. And if we want to remain competitive with the other 22 states who already have these protections, I would submit that access to fair housing is something that is of absolute importance, and I think we need to protect these classes of people.
Thank you, Senator Wexton. All right, members of the committee, any questions or report?
Second.
We have a motion to report and properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Four. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, indeed. All right. Senator Barker, 1019.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Dear members of the subcommittee, this Senate Bill 1019 makes a number of changes to the Board of Accountancy statute. There are a variety of different rationales for these. In some instances, this could be complicit with the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy, which we definitely want to remain in sync with to be able to have reciprocity and other types of advantages for our CPAs and others, as well as our accounting firms. There are also some to address some issues that have arisen related to the operations in Virginia and what some of the CPAs are doing or not doing, and also a couple of other things that are necessary to be able to comply with different standards and to improve the process. Just to quickly highlight some of the major ones, does state now that experience when you're doing the requirement for initial licensure, experience that you cited must be verified by an actively licensed CPA. So it must be someone who is a CPA who verifies that you have the correct experience there. This is necessary to comply with the national board in that particular case. Then there's language related to use of the CPA title. And what this does is say that anyone who has a license as a CPA, whether in Virginia or somewhere else, has access to the CPA title and is operating under that, and therefore must comply with all the requirements of that. So you can't say, well, yes, I'm a CPA, but I'm not doing something right now, so therefore I don't have to comply with the provisions there. This is also very important. Providing services on behalf of an employer, if there are a couple people who argue, well, I'm working for an accounting firm, so therefore I'm not providing services to an employer, but yet they're employed by that employer, they're providing services to that employer. It just clarifies that does mean they meet all the requirements and must be comply with whatever the standards are there. There's also a practice monitoring program that is operated to be able to try to sort of monitor types of things and make sure that things are done properly. This actually reduces the breadth of the reach of that, and then rather than tying it to licensure and in effect bringing in everybody under that, it ties it to whether the firm performs services that are subject to that type of review, that practice monitoring thing, so that it narrows it and gets it focused specifically on those firms doing those types of things. And this is also another requirement of the national board. finally, what they're doing is standardizing the licensure period. Historically, it's been, it should be any month throughout the year that your license come up for renewal, which makes it a little harder for people to remember when does my license come up for renewal. What they're doing is going to a one-time a year licensure period, so that everybody's up at the same time, everybody knows when it is, and you better get your license renewed. So, but it makes it a little more likely that they're going to remember when it is. So, those are the proposals that are in this incorporated in this bill. I can't answer any questions, and if I can't answer, there may be one or two people in that audience who can help out. So,
Thank you, Senator. A number of folks have been working on this throughout the year.
yes, they're working out very hard. So,
Yes, sir. All right, members of the committee, do we have any questions for the senator? How about some folks that speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Emily Walker with the Virginia Society of CPAs, and we do support this bill.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I'm Wade Jewell, Executive Director of the Virginia Board of Accountancy. This was an agency bill supported by the administration. We appreciate you supporting the bill.
Thank you. All right, anyone else speak to the bill in opposition? We have a motion, properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Senator. Like those. All right, thank you. All right. Mr. 1412. Yes, sir. Oh, and before we move on, I hate to interrupt, we have some business. I have Senate Bill 1171 from Senator Vance, request for action tax fund. All right, all in favor of passing by, say aye. All right, welcome, sir, and 1412.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 1412 is identical to a bill that this committee endorsed last year. What it does is it provides a leave benefit for state employees that adopt a child under 1 year of age. And the leave benefit would be similar to the leave benefit that our state employees enjoy now if they give birth to a child. There's also a provision in there that if there are two state employees that do this, they don't both get the leave benefit. There's just one. It's identical to the bill that this committee endorsed last year. Last year it got hung up in appropriations because it wasn't in the budget. This year it is in the Senate budget that you all will have to consider as you meet with your own meetings. So if you like, you can find consent to appropriations.
We do, and actually, I was going to say, we have a letter. So if, it's a pleasure to be. We have a motion to report a second to report appropriation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right.
We'll take no yes for anything.
Thanks, sir. Senator Ruff, 1539. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see y'all. Senate Bill 1539 deals with the Chief Workforce Development Advisor. Just 12 years ago, we passed this legislation, created this position, because we have 3 secretariats that have some chunk of workforce. So the goal was to get it directly to the governor, but the last 3 governors have interpreted that to say governor, not directly to the governor. So what we're trying to do is reinforce the idea that the governor needs to fully understand and appreciate the needs of workers. There is an amendment that I would request that you add, and that would make it effective January 15th, 2018.
We have a motion properly seconded for the amendment. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The amendment bill is before us. We have a motion report properly seconded. Thank you, Senator. I've been following this and seen some of the issues, so thank you for bringing this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Senate Bill 812, the purpose of this legislation is to require that home inspectors make a written notation if yellow corrugated stainless steel tubing is seen during the course of their inspection of a home built before 2006, which is when certain construction codes took effect. It does not require a homeowner to have a home inspection, but if you have one based on some renovations you're doing to your home or you sell your home, it requires that they make a notation on their report. Yellow corrugated stainless steel tubing is a flexible stainless steel pipe used to supply natural gas and propane in residential, commercial, and industrial structures. It connects a home's gas or propane supply to their gas or propane appliances. Direct or indirect lightning strikes on or near a structure have been shown to cause an electrical surge to travel into the structure that can perforate the sidewall of this tubing and ignite the pressurized gas leading to a fire. If observed, the inspector is to notify the homeowner in writing that a licensed contractor can determine if yellow CSST is properly bonded and grounded, which would prevent this problem. The legislation is supported by the National Association of State Fire Marshals, American Gas Association, American Public Gas Association, the Air Conditioning, Heating, and Refrigeration Institute, and the manufacturer of the product itself recommends this. There's been 6 million homes that have this in their heating units, their gas heating units in this country that were put in the 90s. The home builders just wanted to make sure it was homes before 2006, and so they would get on board. We had a terrible accident in Texas. There's been a number of these around the country. We had 2, according to the fire official in Chesterfield County, who's, I don't believe, here today, but they had 2 instances in Chesterfield County where this could have been a problem. And so that is what the bill does. It does not require people to go get home inspections, but if you have somebody in there and it's a professional looking at the system, then he needs to let you know that you could get a contractor to come in and make sure that this thing's bonded and grounded and protect your family.
Thank you, Senator. Do we have any questions from the committee? Those in favor of the bill?
Yes, Chairman. Scott McRae, Washington Gas. We support the bill. It's a good safety measure, and it will be a pleasure to recommend reporting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else speak in favor or in opposition to the bill? Have a motion to report properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you. That was my new favorite committee.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Senator Edwards, there you are, sir.
This promises to be the most exciting, sexiest bill of the whole session. I warn you, it is a recommendation of the Administrative Law Advisory Committee of the Code Commission. Only a lawyer would love this bill. What it does is deals with the Virginia Register Act, and it has to do with guidance documents. And what it does, excitingly, is first consolidate certain provisions relating to the availability of guidance documents in a single section of the Virginia Register Act. If that doesn't excite you, what it does in addition is to require those agencies that do not now have regulatory authority also to file with the Virginia Registrar of Regulations under the Virginia Register of Regulations Act, those guidance documents that they also have. And what a guidance document is, in case you don't already know, is a document that an agency has to help it implement and to interpret existing statutes and existing regulations. And if it doesn't have regulatory authority, it has operating guidance documents is how it operates. So if you're dealing with a agency of government, whether it has regulatory authority or not, there will be a place you can go to review its guidance documents in case you care, in case you want to know, have reason to know. And so the idea is open government. So this is how they operate, this is how they interpret the regulations, this is how they interpret the statutes. And again, if they don't have regulatory authority, this is how they operate. So that is let the public know how they're operating. And the new thing, again, is for those administrative agencies that do not have regulatory authority, they also have to publish their guidance documents in the areas where they actually operate. again, it's pretty exciting stuff.
Mr. Chair,
Thanks, sir. Delegate Bell.
Senator, I can see how you get so excited about the legislation.
Yeah, I have a question. It's really exciting. Is there a fiscal impact?
No, I don't think it's fiscal impact.
Edwards, or maybe to council, just a question, when we talk about the definition of agency, would a public body, corporate, politic, established under the Acts of Assembly be one of these agencies that has to publish their guidance documents?
Mr. Chairman, I'm looking up the definition.
It has under line 118 and 119 and so forth. For the purpose of this section, an agency means any authority, instrumentality, officer, board, or other unit of the government of the Commonwealth, other than, and a list of things that is not included. General Assembly is not, for example, the courts are not, municipal corporations are not, counties, other local or regional governmental authorities, including sanitary or other districts, and joint state, federal, interstate, and inter-municipal authorities are not agencies, nor is the Virginia Resources Authority or the Code Commission, or the educational institutions operated by the Commonwealth, with respect to their academic affairs, tenure, dealing with faculty, and selection of students, and rules of conduct and discipline of students. That's not an agency for purposes of this.
All the comments, Chair. I don't need any harm in the bill. My question is, we have our hospital in our city is actually an instrumentality of Commonwealth, Virginia. It's a public body politic, and it's the Chesapeake Hospital Authority. So it is an authority. It was created, and it falls under the Commonwealth of Virginia. It was created by Commonwealth of Virginia. So I don't know that, first I don't know whether this bill captures them, and if it does, my question would be whether it intends to capture them. I don't think it would want to.
Well, like I say, it's kind of everything that's part of the Commonwealth of Virginia's governmental entities is captured, except for these that are excluded, including the General Assembly. So that, I think authority would be.
Mr. Chairman, under the definition of the Register Act, as the center read, it says any authority or other unit of government of the Commonwealth with express or implied authority to issue regulations, and then other than.
Okay. Thank you. So is that a yes or no?
The
Yes.
answer is yes.
Yes.
Any authority, and there are,
Yeah.
if you go to the LIS, there's a list of all of the authorities that have been created in the Commonwealth of Virginia. There's a very long list, so this would apply to each private authority.
I don't know whether there are any other entities in the Commonwealth that would be unintentionally captured. I would just maybe ask whether the patron would be amenable to a friendly amendment to specifically exclude that authority.
Which authority is
It's the Chesapeake Hospital Authority. Just created under the 1966 Acts of Assembly.
Well, they're not they do not issue regulations, but to the extent that they have what we call guidance documents as to how they operate, they would just have to follow them. And I don't know whether they do or not.
I guess someone might say they're required to, and their guidance documents might include strategies that would have them competing with other local hospitals.
Well,
This is my concern.
yeah, these would be things that the public would, if you're dealing with them, you want to know about. If the internal minutes of their board meetings and all that, it would not be included. I don't believe it. Because it would be guidance documents. These are kind of general documents, how we normally operate. Gentleman, would you like to come explain these vice chairman?
I voted for it to come. I guess, in my experience, a guidance document, you'll have bylaws that actually are the structure, and then the guidance documents go along, with those bylaws that are adopted on really your policies, taking that business, and you if they have it, they don't have to have guidance documents, but if they do, they would need to be submitted.
That's right.
Delegate Knight.
Maria, I see on the last line, 151-2.2-4008 for Virginia Field, says in here, duty of every agency to annually file. We're just striking that because it's duplicative.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. As I understand it, we're moving the requirement to produce guidance documents out of the Administrative Process Act over into the Register Act, so that any guidance documents have to be submitted to the Registrar of Regulations.
I just looked it up. I want to make sure we didn't have anything with the smoking ban down here.
Oh, yes, you can't smoke when you read these documents.
All right. Any further questions from the committee? We have some folks here to speak to the bill, or in favor of the bill.
Chris Nolan, who's chairman of the Administrative Law Advisory Committee, was here. I don't know his name. Maybe you got more than one. I don't know.
And anyone to speak in opposition to the bill? All right, members of the committee. Demolition report properly seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. And delegate Steph, delegates. One of us that still sticks in my mind. So welcome, Senator Steph.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you very much. We have a very complex bill in front of you today. Senate Bill 1374, which adds one member to the Board of Contractors with a PE license. That's it. No amendments, no substitutes, nothing else. I wish I could say it's more complex than that.
All right, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions?
How many total members are on the board of contractors?
Currently 15, this will turn to 16.
How many of those are named classifications? Yeah, I mean, I can read it right now.
Almost all of them. Electricians, plumbers, HVAC, I believe almost all of them.
This would take the place of a member that didn't have a classification.
Actually,
Or just add one.
I think it just adds one member, period. So it wouldn't take away from anything.
And if I may ask a question, typically there's a story to every bill. So what's the story to add this member?
There's been a couple of issues, and I'll just say when an electrician was not available or not available for a meeting, there were a couple of things that I would just say I disagreed with that came out of there. And had there been an electrician, somebody with a PE, professional engineer, none of that would have happened. And truly in the construction industry, when you look at it, we don't have anyone with the professional engineer certification on that committee today.
Mr. Chairman. So all of those persons who are on the committee, they're voting members.
Correct.
So you're thinking that the one person could have influenced all the rest of them, and what didn't come out in your favor would have been,
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Somebody with a professional engineering license, first of all, they understand electrical engineering or electrician work. They understand the folks doing the top coat. They understand HVAC. They understand pretty much a piece of almost all of the contracting stuff. So it's kind of like somebody who would understand a little bit of everything. And the professional engineering license is primarily done by structural engineers, electricians, or electrical engineers